involved in the collector car hobby. Now let's go outside to Justin Bell.
Okay, Fantasy Haggerty bidders, this is a very tricky one for you. Lot 9 60.1. What a gorgeous 1955 Chevrolet custom pickup. No, it isn't. Look in there. It is a Mercedes Benz through and through. It has SUV chassis and everything, engine wonderful, and yet it has this extraordinary body on it. Great custom paint job, obviously, as you'd expect, immaculate. Great wheels, cool interior, and the best thing about this is actually that Mercedes actually issued it a temporary VIN number, so you get full service and support at your local dealership. I think it's a really tricky one to put your number on, but that's the idea of this game, isn't it? So start tapping in your magical number, and I hope you can be well on your way to winning one of those fabulous prizes. I guess that means this car is officially open. Get online. There you are, Bob.
Thanks, Justin. I had a close look at this truck. I know what I think it's worth. How about you? The hammer price without going over. Text your bid to 7733333 or go to speedfantasybid.com. A 55 Chevy 3100 Extreme Custom. We'll be back with more on the block at Barrett Jackson following these words. Stay with us. Still time to get your Haggerty Fantasy bid in on this one-of-a-kind custom 55 Chevy/Mercedes pickup. We'll be back.
Next morning. They don't even wash it.
Yep, warts and all.
But a year later, on the morning of the Daytona 500, it is returned to the car owner. So that's why. And of course, this car predates that requirement.
And of course, the irony is you lose a very good restrictor plate track car, and you've still got a couple of races to go on those tracks. Still time to get your Haggerty Fantasy bid in on that beautiful 55 customized truck. It is on deck. Soon as this Healy sells, we will close the Haggerty Fantasy bidding. Text what you think the bid will be, the hammer price that is, to 7733333 or go to speedfantasybid.com, but you better hurry. 55 Chevy-based Mercedes driveline, dashboard, and more. A true custom pickup. Over 15,000 fantasy bids filed. Thank you very much.
I just can't believe what's been combined here, because not only the Mercedes 3.2 liter V6, but four-wheel anti-lock disc brakes, four-wheel independent suspension, 5-speed automatic transmission, and the gauges, the heater controls. So many of the touches of this car came. I'd love to have this. Drive it down to Mercedes Benz in Winston-Salem, pull in and say, you guys want to service this? Take a close look, because you're going to have to.
Yeah, it's amazing. I was asking him, the guy who built this, I said, well, how did you come up with this idea? And the first thing he said was, well, a lot of beer. But it took him about 7 years. One of the interesting things to point out is when you get up to the front, you'll notice that the way the bodywork has been done, normally this is where the hood line would be. But you'll notice what they've done is they've actually raised it. And they did that, he said, because they wanted kind of a more solid feel to the front to get less rattling in it. As a result, it's a smaller smaller cut for the hood itself. But just an amazing amount of work. When they were talking about what it took to get the cab on, he said it took 14 Sawzall blades, because they'd cut and cut and cut to try to get it just right, and they finally did over that Mercedes chassis.
Of course, for what it's worth, this is a second series 1955 Chevy pickup truck, and 55 was an unusual year because the more bulbous, post-war truck was built until about April of 55 as the first series, and then these more automotive-inspired, if you will, almost a Cadillac or 55 Chevy automobile style, these arrived around April as the second series pickup truck cab.
I love this. It's a great example of the hot rodder's art, and it shows a real broadening away from the traditional let's throw a small block Chevy in it kind of thinking that we've been used to over the years. This is great.
You know, the amazing thing, if you told me in advance you were going to do this, I'd tell you were crazy. There's no way you'd get this to fit on there. And through their work, hours, days, weeks of work, years of work, they were able to pull it off.
I think what I'd call this is just ingenuity, inspired ingenuity. Absolutely. Very nicely done. Yep. Great idea.
Kind of an automotive cultural crossover.
I'm just thinking, we have a friend in North Carolina who owns a few Chevy dealerships, owns a couple of Mercedes dealerships. Just might have his hand in the air for this one.
If I'm thinking of the same guy, I don't think he's going to be denied either.
But he is not among the bidders that we've shown. So we move on.
Mercedes-Benz suspension. It's a true one-of-one. Classic styling of a 55 Chevrolet pickup merged with high-tech attributes like a modern Mercedes-Benz SUV.
My guess is that a Mercedes ML320 sport utility gave its all for this build.
Does that mean there's one of those running around with a small block Chevy at some place?
Maybe. There could be.
Hey, you're right. I just asked the owner. He said it was an ML320.
There you go.
Truly unique. It is absolutely a one-of-one.
Hey, take a look at something on the back, by the way. See where it says Wie ein Stein? Basically German for like a rock.
Like a rock.
Which, of course, was the Chevy marketing slogan for a long time.
And that great song by Bob Seger.
Right. Bidder assistant Clint Minshew asking for clarification.
I love this. You want to show somebody the uniqueness of what happens at Barrett Jackson, just show them this pickup.
You're out at 82. Don't lose that for 1,000. One strike, final call at 82 and 9.
$81,000. That's our number 2 seller of the day.
Now he waved off and then came back in. He waved off about $5,000 ago. Changed his mind.
How often we see it.
Good for him.
Yep. I think I did want it after all, and now he has it.